Marvel Games is in a really great spot right now. Their ongoing Spider-Man franchise from Insomniac has been doing well. Their new PvP game, Marvel Rivals, has been very successful. And on top of that, there's a ton of new characters getting games in the near future. Everyone from Wolverine to Blade to Captain America and Black Panther and Iron Man are all getting games. And it was just announced between Sony's State of Play last week as well as Summer Games Fest that we're also getting another Marvel fighting game and a Deadpool VR experience. Marvel is doing a great job of learning from the mistakes of projects like Marvel's Avengers and moving forward as they build a healthy ecosystem for gamers, whether you're a single-player gamer or a multiplayer gamer or a VR gamer. As a fan of Marvel, I'm very excited for a lot of these projects, and every project that doesn't really speak to me, there's another 2 or 3 that do. They're doing a really great job, but it also kind of breaks my heart as a DC fan that we're not seeing a similar treatment over there. Today I'd like to talk through 3 things that I'd like to see Warner Brothers games do in order to help their DC characters thrive in the gaming space. But before I get into it, I'd love to hear from you. What DC game would you greenlight today if you were given the opportunity? Also, as you're listening, if you enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. But without any further ado, let's dive right in. The first critical key to success when it comes to the new trajectory for DC games is that there must be a prevailing goal, which is to satisfy DC fans. Let's be honest, Warner Brothers, you have not been providing DC fans with the experiences that they've wanted or asked for. You've brought us games like Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which are clearly an attempt to cash in on gaming trends. Superhero fans play superhero games because they want to inhabit the world of the character they love. They want to feel like they are playing as the character that they really enjoy. We want to have a more interactive experience with one of our favorite IPs. That's why the Batman Arkham series worked so well. A brand new gameplay loop was developed for Batman. It wasn't a game that just tried to emulate what BioShock or Resident Evil was doing. It created a gameplay loop that felt definitive for Batman, and it was a single-player, story-driven experience that put us in the world of the character. In contrast, Gotham Knights was a game that felt like it was trying to appeal to the new RPG Assassin's Creed crowd, and Suicide Squad to Kill the Justice League felt like an attempt to cash in on the live service looter shooter trend. The problem with both of these, as well as Marvel's own Avengers game, is that the story and original gameplay functionality fall by the wayside in an effort to just emulate other success stories in the industry. This isn't to say that every superhero game must be a single-player, open-world, story-driven game. There's absolutely room for variety. We could get a side-scrolling Flash game, for example. We could get a PvP Justice League versus Suicide Squad game that plays like a hero shooter. But regardless of what format and genre these games are developed, they absolutely all must have the singular goal of appealing to fans of the IP. It doesn't make sense to try and draw in a bunch of new fans when you already have a huge fan base willing to play your games. Like I said, the only real requirement is that us, the players, want to feel like we are experiencing something that was handcrafted with love for that character. If I'm playing a Superman game, I want to feel like the creative director loves Superman and pulled from a lot of classic Superman stories and built a gameplay model around making us feel like the character. A Superman game should not just be The Division, but Where I Can Fly. It needs to feel true to the character. And look, going forward, if DC is able to provide a number of high-quality projects, they're going to start cultivating a fan base that trusts them and that really enjoys playing their games. Another big part of building a large fan base that's willing to try a lot of different experiences is providing us with high-quality variety. DC, I know you guys are terrified of producing a Flash game or a Wonder Woman game or a Superman game right now, but you've got to lean into the strengths of these characters that you own. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was not a flop because we don't like the Justice League. It was a flop because it was a mean-spirited game where we went around and killed our favorite heroes. That wasn't an experience we were looking for. The Flash movie did not bomb because people just don't like the Flash. I know that's what the director said, but he's not correct. The character just came off a successful 9-season run on the CW. The Flash movie didn't work because the lead actor wasn't likable. The movie was set in a convoluted and dying cinematic universe. There were a plethora of reasons, the wonky CGI being one of them, that the movie just felt a little bit off-putting. A Flash game could work if it was made really well. It's a character that people really like. He has a great rogues gallery. He has powers that could be adapted into gameplay in very interesting ways. And even if it was true that people just didn't like the Flash, well, DC and Warner Brothers, as the owner of this character, it's your job to make him cool, to convince the audience that we should think he's awesome and play a game or watch a movie about him. Aquaman and Wonder Woman had a drop-off in quality for their second films, so their sequels didn't do great at the box office, but their respective first films, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, both did surprisingly well at the box office. This proves to me that if you tell a high-quality story about a character, even if they're not necessarily the most well-known in the mainstream, you can build an audience for them. This is arguably even more true in games where there's an ecosystem where brand new IPs are well received and can be very successful. And when you have an established IP like The Flash or Wonder Woman, if you do it right in the gaming space, that's going to be a knockout success. I stand by the notion that if a Superman game were done right, it has the potential to be a hit on a similar level to Hogwarts Legacy. Superman is one of the most recognizable characters in fiction. A game that leaned into his world and his story and his character and brought in all of the elements that have made him so popular over the years could make for a hard-hitting game that really gets it right and makes a ton of money doing it. As it stands right now, it seems that DC is currently producing Injustice 3 from NetherRealm and a new Batman Arkham game from Rocksteady. And I'm not one of those people saying to not do that. I think both of those franchises have had success and we should get more entries. I'm not one of those people saying no more Batman games, we've had too many. You should do more Batman games. It's a proven track record of success for that character. Honestly, I think it would be stupid to say we're just not going to do more Batman games because we've done too many. Well, the well is not dry yet. Keep making Batman games, but don't not make other games. That was a confusing way of saying that. So in other words, continue to make other games for other characters. Invest in the larger DC universe. Make a Flash game and a Superman game and a Wonder Woman game and a Green Lantern game and a Green Arrow game and a Constantine game. Give us these experiences in different shapes and sizes and scopes. Not everything has to be a major AAA big budget experience. I'm okay getting a side-scrolling Flash game that just tells a really good story. I'd be fine getting a Wonder Woman game that's similar in size and scope to Arkham Origins and tells a 7-hour-long story with another 7 hours of side missions to do. I'd be okay with a Constantine game from a studio like Bloober Team that just made the Silent Hill 2 remake that is more of a first-person horror game. It's been so frustrating to me to see Warner Brothers, who owns so many great characters and stories, be scared to use those characters and stories and intimidated of how they'll do at the box office because there is a way to make them work. I would do just about anything to have the opportunity to tell a story about a character like Superman, and the fact that Warner Brothers just is really scared to do that in the gaming space makes me roll my eyes because it could be a good hit. They just have to do it right. There's also a ton of projects that fans would be super happy about that wouldn't require a large budget or a large team. An Arkham Origins remaster, an Arkham Knight remaster, some of the Lego Batman games getting a collection on current generation hardware, bringing games like Superman Returns and Shadow of Apocalypse to current gen hardware. There's a lot you could do to balance out some of these higher cost and ambition projects with lower budget projects that will help sort of keep profitability flowing while you work on these more ambitious titles. Speaking of these more ambitious titles, I think Warner Brothers needs to focus on being realistically ambitious. In my opinion, these days, far too many AAA games are trying to be the chosen one. They're trying to be the biggest and best AAA game of them all. But when you look back in the 2010s, I appreciated having games that knew what they were good at and just leaning into their strengths. Mass Effect, Arkham City, The Last of Us, BioShock, Assassin's Creed, they all did different things, but the different things they did, they each did well. They leaned into their respective strengths, and that's what I think you need to do with these kinds of characters. A modern Flash game should prioritize making us, the player, feel like we're moving very quickly. It should give us a gameplay loop that prioritizes speed. It should tell a story that delves into the Flash's lore. I don't also need it to have a live service battle pass and the biggest open world ever conceived and a choice system. Those aren't things that need to be in the game to make it good. This is true of the entire games industry. This is plaguing so many cancellations and studio shutdowns. It even happened over at Marvel with their Black Panther game recently, but it also recently happened at DC. Monolith got shut down and their Wonder Woman game was scrapped. Part of the reasons for these cancellations is that the games get too expensive, the ambition gets too big, it's not feasible for the team size, and so it gets to a point where it's cheaper to just shut down the studio and cancel the game. Frankly, I would have been okay with Wonder Woman being a Tomb Raider-style linear game that just tells a really good story. The Nemesis system would have been nice, but if it was too complicated, I didn't need it. It wasn't something that I required in order for it to be a good game. There also needs to be an understanding that while Warner Brothers does own some very good and talented in-house studios, these in-house studios can't be the only people working on these games if you want to have a new DC game every year or every other year. Like I mentioned earlier, you could hire smaller teams like Bloober Team to make a Constantine game, but you could also reach out to BioWare and see if they'd want to do a Green Lantern game in the style of Mass Effect, or Ubisoft and see if they want to do an Aquaman game in the style of their RPG Assassin's Creed games. This is even an area where you could partner with the fans a little bit. You could have us get involved in the production of games by bringing a character like Superman to Fortnite, like they're doing, but then you could go one step further and partner with Epic Games so that people who use UEFN can go in and create a Superman game in Fortnite. If DC empowered us, the fans, to make fan games legally, that would be a great step for the ecosystem of the DC gaming space. It would give the fan base something exciting to do and participate in. Overall, the three things that I think Warner Brothers Games needs to do in order to make their DC gaming brand thrive is first, tailor experiences for the fans. Make games that are built around the IP they are based upon. Secondly, make a variety of games. Lean into producing a lot of different games for a lot of different characters. If you're worried that a character isn't going to make $1 billion when it releases at launch, that's fine. That's where we get into step 3. Be realistically ambitious. Give that project to a smaller team with a smaller budget so that you'll still get a profit by making it. If you make a Superman game, make a game that's similar in scale and scope to Insomniac's Spider-Man. Don't try to make GTA 6, but you can also fly. If Warner Brothers is able to produce a bunch of high-quality content, both first-party and third-party for their players based on fan-favorite DC IPs, they are going to see a massive shift in excitement and attention from their community, and I really hope they do. I love these characters and these worlds, and I'd love to interact with them in the video game space. And look, Warner Brothers, if you want a third-party developer, I'm starting a production company. I'm well into production on a few games right now, and I'd be open to talking about some ideas. I obviously don't think they will, but the offer's out there. Thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Once again, let me know in the comments below what DC game you would greenlight if you were given the keys to the kingdom for a day. Thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and we will see you guys in the next one.